Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great. Hope you're having a great week so far, and welcome to yet another daily update on XRP. As I try to post these daily updates every single day of the year. But we're going to do a full update again, and the price action for XRP is looking more and more interesting, which is as expected. I mean, if you watch my brief updates on XRP yesterday in the middle of the day market update, but also my update yesterday morning, we've basically since the weekend we have already said that there was something brewing on XRP. If you look both at the volume, we actually have had some major volume spikes since the beginning of July, by the way. And so far, we've never been able to break out, right? And XRP also tried to break out right here on Monday, also failed to do that, which was also to be expected. But right now, it's being very, very persistent, all right? And not only with that high volume, I mean, if you compare this volume, like if we zoom out, if you compare this volume to the volume we had, for example, the beginning of May, it's actually not that impressive. But you should also take into consideration that the market circumstances right now are very different, right? It's almost the middle of July. Very often there just isn't that much volume in the middle of July, and still XRP has that relative volume Monday. But yesterday we also, even though yesterday the volume was lower, technically we are actually respecting the levels we should respect if we want to see a breakout and a move into the point of control area between 2.41 and 2.45. And yesterday in the middle of the day market update, I said I think that breakout is coming sooner rather than later, and I stick by that. I still think that's most likely. So what I expect for XRP, and I could almost make this a very, very short video, is that we are going to be able to break out here. Maybe we have to retest the value area high. Maybe we have to retest the 7-day rolling VWAP. Maybe we even have to do a little bit of a what you call it, bear trap, all the way down into 2.25. But ultimately, you know, as long as we don't see some sort of a new war starting, I do think the breakout is more likely, right? So this is not the strongest breakout I've ever seen. The volume is quite low. There's quite a lot of leverage, right? So those are things that I would say, you know, that makes it, in a way, that makes it more likely to break out, because we actually do see that strength coming in, and we do see a much higher proportion of buyers against sellers. But that also means, especially the high proportion of leverage, that if anything happens, fundamentally, in terms of bad news, we can reverse all the way back down to 2.15 very, very quick. So be aware of that. But ultimately, it looks good. Yesterday, I made a video on Stellar, or XLM as well, which is obviously correlated to XRP. That has done incredibly well as well over the last 24 hours, also as expected, by the way. So if you're interested in XLM, consider checking those videos as well. I try to cover it at least once a week, so a little bit less often or less frequent than XRP, but still. And if we zoom into the lower time frames, I think that confirms kind of our thoughts, right? What you can see is that basically since that auction higher on Saturday, XRP has actually done a relatively good job at continuing some strength. And even though I think the price action right here on Monday was a bit of a short squeeze, the day after we still managed to get a move higher. You can see the point of control moved higher. Point of control in general has been moving higher here. So far we also had a higher open than a point of control. So even though short term we can definitely still have some sort of a bear trap, some sort of a pullback, I do think the breakout is coming. I do think the move into that point of control at 2.41, 2.45 is coming. And those are my thoughts. And yes, I know it's a little bit risky for me to say we are going to break out since it is summer. And fundamentally, you know, is there a lot of news for why XRP should break out? I don't know. I mean, I'm a pretty big fan of the XRP ETF, and I think that has potential. But should we already rally because of that right now? I don't know. But I'll keep you updated on that. For now, I think that's what you need to know. So hopefully that helps. But for now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.